Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and no, there is not yet a second sneak peek for the Endgame Part 2 update. So we're going to talk about Captain America, the dark horse star of Part 1's update, and the uniform that we did not think was going to transform this character the way that it has. So what you're looking at right now, and the reason why there's no music, is I maxed out. I got the maximum amount of score, the top possible score, 3.5 million, with the following team: Valkyrie, She-Hulk, and Captain America. And this is not really important for this. I'm not trying to flex on you, but it is important for what I'm about to show you with another character named WARWOLF, and a character that you guys often make fun of me for mispronouncing his name. So we're checking out. Actually, the volume is gone because I killed the volume. There we go, it's back. So we're checking out Captain America, and we're checking out the synergy between Captain America and characters like Captain America, and also his CTP of Rage, which is another important key point here, and WARWOLF. And what's important to note about WARWOLF is that he provides two different bonuses that not many characters, actually no other characters, provide. He is unique in the sense that his tier 2 passive gives crit rate or guaranteed crit rate and crit damage. Coulson gives guaranteed crit rate, Claw gives crit damage, but no characters give both. WARWOLF is the only character that gives both, and this is actually really important. On top of that, WARWOLF also has Howl to Mars, which is a passable buff that gives you 80% all attack, 20% all speed, 60% crit rate. The 60% crit rate is nice, but really it's that 15 seconds, which is like 2 full rotations of an 80% attack boost, which is insane. And that really, skyrockets Cap's damage, and especially for Captain America being, the #1 stat boost in the game for tier 3s, that 80% goes a long way when you're stacking it on top of 43,000 physical attack. But it's really that combination of 20% guaranteed crit rate and 30% crit damage that synergizes so well with a CTP of Rage, and it also has additional synergy because Captain America is one of those characters that does not have any guaranteed crit, because guaranteed crit doesn't stack. So if Cap had 20%, then WARWOLF would only be giving him a 30% crit damage buff, and it wouldn't stack to 40% guaranteed crit. And that's why WARWOLF has such a profound buff and such a profound impact on characters like Captain America, characters who, or even like Captain Marvel, who don't have, who benefit from the CTP of Rage, but who don't have native guaranteed crit rate, and who don't have ways of boosting their crit damage, because I can basically build Captain America to cap out his crit rate and cap out his dodge, and I can leave the crit damage relatively low, knowing that I'm going to get a 30% chunk of that from WARWOLF. So I'm actually playing, when I play with WARWOLF on the team, anywhere on the team, I get an additional 30%, so I jump up to 196%, and that allows you to basically cap every other stat that's important. The only one I don't cap is ignore defense, because Cap gives himself, I believe, 15% when he uses 10% when he uses Heroic Fury, so that 10% is basically up for the entire match. But really, the important thing here is to note that, and again, this is a pretty expensive combo, but comboing characters who have a CTP of Rage equipped and don't have native guaranteed crit rate, and don't have a way of capping their crit damage, because that's what the CTP of Rage lacks. It lacks crit damage, and even if you have max crit rate, you only have a 20% chance to trigger it when you crit, but that extra 20% guaranteed crit actually means that you're critting a lot more often, because you basically get 2 rolls. You get the first roll at whatever your crit rate is, so mine's 75% chance. If I miss the first roll, I still have a second try, kind of like a saving roll if you play D&D, to a 20% roll with the 20% guaranteed crit to do that. And that's also why for certain characters, Coulson is a better buff than some other characters, because not only do you get that first buff of all damage to supervillains, but then you get that guaranteed crit. So it would be interesting, and I do encourage you, even for those of you that aren't playing ABX for World Boss, try the same team. Let's say you use Hyperion's leadership and Phil Coulson, and then try White Fox. And although White Fox gives a larger buff, she gives a 60% buff rather than 45%, Coulson gives Cap that 20% guaranteed crit. And I would guess, I haven't tested it myself, but I would guess the 20% guaranteed crit with a CTP of Rage is actually worth more and buffs Cap more, if not as much, if not more, than White Fox's leadership. So it's a really important kind of thing to see, and to see that, you know, as bad as the CTP of Rage is, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again, as bad as the CTP of Rage is for how it's kind of divided the ABX community and kind of ruined certain scores, it is quite amazing that it's made a pretty underused tier 2 character with a tier 2 buff passive actually a lot more meaningful in a lot of gameplay. And I'm not just talking about ABX, I'm talking about World Boss Ultimate. I definitely can use WARWOLF with Mr. Fantastic as well as Captain America, because both of these guys don't have guaranteed crit. You can even go so far as to use Wolverine. He also doesn't have, oh no, he does have guaranteed crit, never mind, not Wolverine. But you know, Mr. Fantastic, Captain America, Hulk, Captain Marvel, there's a lot of characters that can benefit, even Thanos, from a CTP of Rage, but they don't have those extra stats to make the absolute most out of it. So I'm going to show you guys the clear here with WARWOLF because I'm so proud of Captain America. I'm not doing this to flex on you because I have a CTP of Rage, but I know some people are going to take it that way. But I'm just really proud of how much insane, like how insane Captain America's damage is. We're going to do the full run here. I'm going to try to hit 3.5 million again. I've hit it the last 2 runs. I've only played twice today, but I hit it on both runs with both the WARWOLF team and the Valkyrie team. But really, it's insane how much damage Cap does, and really all of that damage, I mean, it does come from their CTP of Rage for sure, but it's also coming from that one skill change that we didn't even think was going to be that serious, but it turns out that it absolutely is. And you can just see that he just turns out insane damage numbers. I didn't even get hit that time, so the buff when you do get hit is actually wild. One tip that I have for you if you're playing with Captain America, any kind of tier 3 Captain America, is that once you get that accumulation on your 5th skill, you definitely want to, or on your 6th skill, sorry, you definitely want to try to squeeze your 4th skill in. It's best with the CTP of Rage, of course, but even if you don't have a CTP of Rage, because that 6th skill buff lasts long enough, the buff that you get from the accumulation from his ultimate skill, it really scales up the damage of Cap's 4th skill. And Cap's 4th skill already hits tremendously hard. It's by far his hardest hitting skill, and it just hits even harder when you can see there it's doing like over 100,000 damage every single time because of that crazy attack buff that you're getting from his 6th skill. So it's actually really, really nice. And Cap, one of the problems that Cap had is that he really didn't hit that hard before he got his Endgame uniform. He only really hit hard with his tier 3 skill. But now, because he hits so hard with his 4th skill, when you buff his damage, you really see the payoff in some of these numbers, and you're like, whoa, Cap's doing crazy damage. And you're like, yeah, Cap is doing crazy damage, because that new 4th skill, and even his 3rd skill does more damage, but that 4th skill is wild. And you're going to see with the accumulation here, we're at 2.5, and then boom, boom, boom. We almost went to 2.6. He almost did 100,000 damage with multiple defense down, or with multiple defense up buffs from the Frost Beast because of that crazy accumulation. And that's, oh, I got snared. This is the first time I've gotten snared in 3 runs. Wow. And that's really the important thing to recognize for... I might get guard broken here, actually. That's the important thing to recognize. When you have a skill that does tremendous damage, it makes your buffs matter more. So even timing your ISO 8 buffs, I would reckon, is going to provide more of a boost. And I'm actually not even playing that well because I keep missing the 5th skill. I keep doing it off the proc instead of on the proc. And I don't think we're going to get 3.5 here, but we're going to get pretty close. Actually, we might actually get 3.5 here. We just need to trigger the... Oh, come on. Oh, we got it! and I got another new record. So the first run, I got 350 and change. The second run with Valkyrie, I got 351 and change. And then this one, I believe I got a little bit higher than the one that we started the video off with. And you've really got to appreciate... Yeah, the CTP of Rage is amazing, but dude, that 4th skill is absolutely nutty. And I had no idea. And I'm going to bring you guys more footage of Captain America because I'm kind of falling in love with him, to be honest with you. Let me be 100% like honest with you and 100% serious. I tier 3'd Captain or Mr. Fantastic. I gave him a CTP of Rage. We had that whole gambling thing, and I was so happy. Number 1 combat character, you know, ora, punching everybody. It was dope. And then, like, the very next, or not the very next update, but, you know, an update later, basically, about a month later, Captain America comes out and dethrones Mr. Fantastic, which is fantastic for everybody because Captain America is a much more, you know, widely tier 3'd character, so people have him tier 3, whereas Captain or Mr. Fantastic is much less tier 3'd and he's much more expensive to tier 3. And on top of that, Captain America, you know, is beloved, and after Endgame, no one is not in love with Captain America. So on the one hand, I was a little bit salty that all of my resources for Mr. Fantastic were basically trumped and overridden by Captain America. But on the other hand, dude, Captain America's 4 skill shreds. Absolutely shreds. Even if he doesn't get Thor's hammer, even if he doesn't get Mjolnir, even if this uniform doesn't get any additional hammer effects or kind of even visually speaking, even if that doesn't happen, I'm actually really impressed with this uniform. It's insane how much stronger it made Cap, and he's really not just a one-trick pony now where you charge up his 6th skill and everything goes into this skill. He does tremendous damage with 4, and it makes him a lot more fun to play, and it makes it a lot less annoying when you miss the 6th skill. And that's what I was trying to say. Even if you don't really hit the 6th skill properly, even if you don't hit the 6th skill on the proc with your CTP of energy or with a regular obelisk, as long as you accumulate enough of that damage, the true damage, and as long as it gives you enough of a buff, that's a 10-second buff. Increases attack by 15% for each 1% of damage taken. That buff, if you get hit, that's a 225% buff at max. And then you slap them down with Captain's Fist on the proc, that's going to blow your eyebrows back to the back of your skull because it's going to do insane damage. And I promise you I will give you content in the future because today I already did it, so I can't show you. But stage 59 of Proxima with Cap and Maximus, he carried Maximus through stage 59 to unlock stage 60, so I can do this with Deadpool later on. So yeah, this is kind of a Captain America love fest for Endgame Part 1. Hopefully we'll be doing an Iron Man love fest for Endgame Part 2. And hopefully I'll have some sneak peeks to talk to you guys about and talk with you guys about and kind of gush over and speculate over in the next 24 hours. So yeah, hit me up on Discord and Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.